Mark Allison posted this about the White House being green, right? This was posted on 4 days ago, so it was posted on February 4th, right? He's got a great channel, Mark Allison, but check this out. Check this out. I hope you're sitting down for this. This is going to rock your world, blow your mind. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. The Q PSYOP posted, "Follow the hair, Q, we are Egypt," with a girl with green hair. What is all this green? The White House is green. This hair is green. They even posted about the White House. The White House has turned green tonight, right? And they did this on January 6th as well. Mask up. You have a major gas leak. The White House is green. You're going home. December is coming. Merry Christmas. Green. What is all this green? What is it? Cheers to the almighty green one. The one of one, right? Then you have the White House back in 2016. Green. Look at that timestamp. 327-723 and 516, right? And what is the name of the band that wrote the song "Wake Me Up When September Ends"? Green Day. Green Day. Right here. Why? Why? You're about to find out. Ishtar was, as were many of the pagan gods, embodied of nature. She represented the vital forces of nature, the fruitfulness of earth, the rain, thunder, and the storms of the heavens. She was among the prominent and central of all nature gods. The fifth color rainbow was green. It represented nature. What was the place where gay pride started? Greenwich Village. Greenwich Village. Guys, when is Terminator Judgment Day? Terminator Judgment Day is on 8/29, Skynet. 8/29/214 at 2:14. 8/29, right? 8/29, exact day Hurricane Katrina hit. I got this from the Decoding with Cody channel. Great channel. And then this guy is talking about Pi Day, right? From 2/3/1959, from that plane crash that happened with Buddy Holly, to 11/8/2016, when the election of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, 3/14, right? 11/9/2016 is the 314th day, right? When Trump officially became president, they announced him. 11/26/29 Super Bowl is 314 days or 99 months. Obviously, we know nothing happens Super Bowl, but he also posted this. See, everyone thinks this Super Bowl trophy, which, yeah, it looks like the Super Bowl trophy, but what is that? That's a mother with her dead child. A mother with her dead child. When is Mother's Day in 2024? It's May 12th. May 12th, 2024, Mother's Day, right? What does Shabbat mean? Shabbat means 5. 5/12, exactly on February 10th, Mother's Day. And you got a mother with her dead child. The Super Bowl trophy is broken, and she's sitting there with a dead child. A mother and a dead child, right here, right? And what's the Bible verse? Woe to pregnant women and nursing mothers in those days. Pray that your escape may not be in winter or on the Sabbath, for at the time there will be great tribulation. Okay? Woe to the pregnant women and nursing mothers. And what date is this? On February 10th? Exactly Mother's Day. 5/12. Okay? And why did I show that Hurricane Katrina and hit on 8/29? This is unbelievable. You gotta pay attention to this. When was the plane crash? I'm like, something goes down. Something's connected. If it's connected to September 26th, perk your ears, listen up. It's gonna get nutty, right? The first plane crash happened on December 29th, right? December 29th. We go to our December 29th. What is that day? 2/6, and we're in a leap year. So if we're in month 10 on this yellow calendar, on the other calendar, we're in month 9. We're in month 9, right? See, it's still December, month 9 on the other calendar. November, we're still in November, month 9. So point is that when you see a 10 on the yellow calendar, you automatically know it's 9. So this date, when the first plane crash happened, when did that happen? On 9/26, right? When did the second plane crash happen? The second plane crash happened on Gentile on Gentile 129, and I had that date in advance. I'm like, dude, something with the 29th, 30th, and it's May Day, and American Eagle burning, right? Why did I say eagle burning? Because on this exact day, 11:10, right? 11:10, and what is this date right here? This date right here, Tevet means 11, it's 11:10, right? Or Tevet means 10:29. So bottom line is, right here, right on May Day, right here is when you got the second plane crash on the same exact day. Why is that important? Why is that important? Because 10:29 is the second plane crash, and the first plane crash was on 10:26, and 6s are 9s, right? Both days right on the eve of May Day. Right on the eve of May Day. May Day, right? But what I did bring up 829. Look at this. We know, if you watch any of these videos, you know the most important day is September 26th, the most important day of our lives, the Great 8 Day, September 26th, the final day of the year, New Year's Eve, right? And when you take the 6 into a 9, what day do you get to? You get to the date October 2nd, right? October 2nd, oct means 8, oct 2nd. Terminator Judgment Day is right here on oct 2nd. If we go to oct 2nd, what is that day? Elul 29, the day of remission, the day ordained by God for a financial calamity. On that day, what did they do? They went to the very last day possible, right? The very last day possible. How is February 10th, October 2nd? I'll tell you in a second, but this is why everything is green. Ishtar is here. Ishtar is here. When does Ishtar arrive? When September ends. When does September end? September ends precisely on this day right here on the 29th, right? September ends, sept. September means 7. So 7 ends right here on the 9th, when September ends. And that was October 2nd. So what is that date on this calendar? It's 728. We know Jew calendars are 6 months apart. That's 128. 128. And all they did, 128 is the Julian of that day. The Julian of 128 is February 10th. This is why everything is green. Ishtar arrives. She's the color green. This is why the White House is colored green. This is why the QSIOP is posting everything in green. She's here, guys. She is here. When does she arrive? On the very last day of 2024. If we're using the Julian calendar, what is the very last day of 2024? The very last day of the month 2024 is the Julian of the 29th. What is that day? What is that day? Okay, so 13 days. The Julian calendar is 13 days later. What is 13 days after October 2nd? What is 13 days after October 2nd? It's October 15th, right? 2024, October 15th. On October 14th, eclipse Northern America, visible parts of Mexico, yada yada, right? The Ring of Fire eclipse was in 2023. The Ring of Fire was on October 14th. What is the very next day? October 15th. But look at this. When was the Ring of Fire in 2024? October 2nd. October 2nd. And what does that say? Before you die, you see the ring. When do you see the ring? You saw the ring on October 14th. The very next day, you die. When is the very next day? It's October 15th, the Julian of the very last day of September, right? The Julian of the very last day of September. Before you die, you see the ring. And why is Terminator Judgment Day on 829, Oct 29? When is Oct 29? Oct 29 is 13 days later, right? So the last day of the first month, the last day of the first month is the 29th on this calendar, but on the biblical calendar, the last day is the 29th. Well, look at that. Wake me up when September ends. September ends right here on the 29th, right? We're in a leap year. So September ends right here on this calendar on the 28th. You take the 28th, right? You take the 28th, you add 13 days to it, and you get right to this day, J28, February 10th. And what is that day? That day is Shabbat, 11, right? 11, 11. And see that 12 up there, right? That's the 12. So we're in a leap year. So it's 11, 11 because we're in a leap year. But it's also 12/11 on this calendar, right? 12/11. What happened on 12/11? What does Adar mean? Adar means 12 and 6. Jew calendar is 12 months apart. So Adar means 12, right? Right here, Adar is the 6 months of the year and 12. 6 and 12. Pandemic started on Adar 11th. That's why they keep saying circle back. And when was the Babylon declared a national disaster? On Adar 13. 2 days later, the entire country for the first time in history in 2020. The circle back ritual. Green Day. Ishtar arrives. Wake me up when September ends. And we all know this is the most important article in history. Knocking on the door of Judgment Day, April 30th. When is the very next day? The very next day is right here on May Day, right? 310. But May Day, February 10th, is 510. 510 is not a number. May Day, right here, right? So you got knocking on the door of Judgment Day. You got the very last day of the year. What is the very last day of 2024? The very last day of 2024 is when the Torah is read. The last page of the Torah on the Jewish calendar is read on the 23rd, right? If we go to the 23rd, in January, right, the 23rd, all they're doing is they're going to the very last day. We know the 23rd is on 9/26, right? This is why September 26. I'm like, dude, all that coding, all those videos on September 26, all they did was go to September 29th, right? This is why you got the plane crash happen on the 29th, right? They went to September 29th, but on the biblical calendar back in September, that's the 28th. That's why the Obama movie came out at 128. 128, you add 13 days to it, you get to February 10th. And talking about Obama, when did his documentary come out? His documentary came out on 12/8, 128, December 8th, 128, leave the world behind, 128, again, 128, plus 13, Julian. The Julian of January 28th is exactly February 10th, the very last day of the year. Wake me up when September ends. This is why they turned everything green. October 26th was the date 126, right? 926, Tishri means 1 and 7. There is your 1224, right? 1224 on the arm of Donnie Darko in 826. That's why October 26 was so big. I'm like, all right, nothing happened. Or obviously on this day, I'm like in advance, a month in advance. And on September 26, a hurricane hit Florida. Nazra got killed. Then the second hurricane hit 13 days later in Florida. September 26 is massive, right? Then I'm like, okay, the next date we watch is right here on the 17th, 18th. Nothing happened on the 17th, 18th, but what happened? It was the 21st. I said October 21st. They actually did the ritual on this 21st and 22nd, right? October 25th and 26th. They did the ritual where Israel hit Iran on this date, on 10/26. Then the Julian of this date, what's 13 days later? 13 days after October 26th is November 8th. November 8th. And I said, dude, let's watch November 8th. Something with Trump and Iran on November 8th in advance. I said that in advance. And the point is, these calendars are not missing. Nobody can hit as many dates without using calendars. Not just me. Anyone can pull up a calendar and look at these dates, right? So what happened November 8th? All the Trump ritual headlines, right? Why did I know November 8th? Not because it was just the Julian, because November 8th was your 9/5 coding. Trump's first assassination was on July 13th. The date was 5/6/95, right? 9/5. And so all the Trump headlines are right here. Trump's first assassination. And then and the second assassination was September 15th. And look at this date. Not only is it 9/5, but it's Sept, right? Sept 15th. It's November 15th, 115. But it was also on his tweet. He said November 5th will be the most important day in history. And November 5th was, his timestamp was 118. And what are the odds on November 8th, all the Trump-Iran headlines? How does this connect? It was the Julian of October 26. And I just pointed out that October 26 is October 29th. What happened on 829? Well, 829 is Terminator Judgment Day, right? On 829, what occurred on 829? It was November 2nd. November 2nd, you got all the trumpet blowing headlines. Trumpet blowing on this date, 829, right? So what is the Julian of November 2nd? Obviously, 13 days later, it's November 15th. What happened? I'm like, dude, let's watch November 15th in advance. What happened November 15th? November 15th was Black Friday. The market tanked on November 15th. A lot of the technical analysts were putting it as Black Friday, right? And that was the Shesvan 14. What does Shesvan mean? It means 2 and 8. Terminator Judgment Day. 829. Terminator Judgment Day, described by both Sarah O'Connor and T-800. Judgment Day occurred on 829. Skynet became self-aware at 2:14 Eastern Time. 2:14. We just talked about 2:14. The Julian of October 2nd, right, is 2:15. The day before, 2:14. Shesvan. August 29th, Terminator Judgment Day. Exact day September ends on the 29th, the day of remission. You had 13 days to it, right? But Oct 829, November 2nd, Oct 29. This is why the trumpet was blowing that day. And all you do, Oct 29. So we know because of the trumpet blast that happened on January 1st with the Cybertruck blowing up in front of the Trump Towers and the lightning strike and all that. We know they're using this calendar. They're going to the very, 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 very last day. What is the very last day? Well, the very last day is either the 28th or the 29th when September ends, right? September is the first month. So all they're doing is taking the Julian of the very last day of when September ends. Does it end on the 28th or 29th? Well, we know it can't be the 29th because if we go 29 plus 13, you get to the 11th, February 11th instead of the 10th. They're not going to pull 9/11, March 11th, and February 11th. They're absolutely not going to do that. But this is why they said 128, leave the world behind. It's exactly this date. And we'll finish with this. What month are we in? We're in month 5, right? Shabbat means 5. Shabbat means 5. And what is the date on 5/10? It's July 17, 7/17, the emoji on your phone. And what is the other date? What is the other date on this date? It's 5/11, right? It's the 10th, Gentile 10, and Torah date 11. It's also the 12th, by the way. So it's 17, 18, and 19 on the same exact day. These 3 days, 17, 18, and 19. 7/17, 7/18, and 7/19. But what happened on July 11th? July 11th, right? Look at the 11th. It's the 4th of July, right? All they're doing is mixing and twisting calendars. So you're in this month right here. We're in the month of July. That's why when Obama was in the classroom on 12/12, the month July was missing behind him. 2024 ends on February 10th, the very last day, the Julian of the last day of the year, right? Shimshat Torah is on, that's why they gave you September 23rd. September 23rd was on the 26th, 926. 926 is 929. You go to 929, it's October 2nd. You add 13 days to it, you get to October 15th. So all we do is we add 13 days to the 28th. Very simple. We get to February 10th. February 10th is Shabbat 10, 5/10. This is why July 17th, and so you got 7/11 and 7/17. What happened on 7/11?
So there's been a nuclear attack. Don't ask me how or why, just know that the big one has hit, okay? So what do? There are 3 important steps that I want you to remember.
There's 3 important steps I want you to remember. The timestamp is 129, the date we've been talking about. 129. What are the damn odds? You have 13 days. Wake me up when September ends. Everything is green. And what did I just say? That it's July 10th, 11th, and 12th that day, right? Look at that timestamp, 6/16. Sept means 7. 7/19. 7/19. 6s or 9s, right? 7/19, guys. Look, just said it's July 19th. It's 129. and it's July 11th. So the PSA came out on July 11th. But what happened on 7/17 besides being the emoji on your phone? Claims new capability, right? On 7/17. And look at that timestamp, 2/17, right? 2/17, the date we've been talking about. What date are we in? We're in February. February 10th. When did the flood start? The second month, 17 days. So obviously they're not going to do it then. But how do we get February 17th? 2/10, right? We're in 2/10 right here. 2/10 currently in February 10th, right here. So 2/10. You go to Shabbat 5/10. That's how they twisted it. You go to 5/10, and it's the 17th, guys. The 17th on 5/10. Mind altering. So you got the New York PSA come out on 7/11. Iran has a nuke on 7/17, and we know it has to be Christmas. We know it has to be Christmas, right? When is Christmas? Christmas is right here. If we go to Christmas, right? 12/25. See, 10/25, 10/28. What is the odds? 10/28. Christmas at ground zero. See the 10 up there? 10/8. Even Christmas is connected to this date. 10/8. All you do is add 13 days to 1/8. That's how they hit it. And how is it New Year's Eve? 10/8 is New Year's Eve. And that's why we have good old Blondie showing the nuke on New Year's Eve. And this is why everything was September 23rd. Once again, when is September 23rd? That's why the most important calendar in history is our September calendar. September 23rd is right here on 9/26, September 26th, the exact day that in 2001 that the 9/11 happened. It was a Lul 23 on September 11th, 01, right? So all you do is you go to September 29th on this calendar. When is the 29th? The 29th is on the 28th, October 2nd. Go to October 2nd. Go to October 2nd when September ends. Go to October 2nd. You add 13 days to it, right? And that's why before you die, you see the ring. When are you going to die? You're going to die. We're all going to die. Nuclear war commences on May Day. May Day, May Day. On January 28th, Julian, February 10th, the day after the Super Bowl. Mother's Day, May 12th, right here, Shabbat 12. And that's why you got the Super Bowl trophy all burned up with a mother with her child. Woe to those pregnant and nursing. Death Day, February 10th. Allison showed us in that video prior, he showed Melania dressed up as the guy from Remember, the 5th of November. Remember, Shabbat 11, the most important day in history, right? And the Trump timestamp was 8/11. 11 is on this day right here. And talking about Drudge headlines, what was the headline between the lines on 12/7? See, look, 12/7, 12/7. The headline was, hopefully nobody dies. Hopefully no one dies. Hopefully no one dies on 12/7. How is February 10th, 12/7? Look, it's 12, right? 12/10. 12 and our Gentile day 10. What was 12/10? That's why I did a whole video on December 10th. December 10th. You go to December 10th. What is that day? 12/7. Hopefully nobody dies. And what is that day? It's 10/7, October 7th, over and over again. And the land has been divided and everyone is watching the Super Bowl. But why is it called Bloody Sunday and Black Sunday? When does Sunday end? Because tonight we can be one tonight. Tonight, Sunday, Bloody Sunday, tonight. When does Sunday end? Sunday begins on midday, February 9th, and ends exactly on Monday, February 9th, right? So tonight, this is why they say tonight. So Bloody Sunday on the biblical calendar doesn't end till midday Monday. That's why it says tonight. It's the night of Sunday, midday. And this is why they gave us our September 22nd midday coding. Everything is connected to J24, right? January 24th. January 24th, as you see right here, was our 9/23. When did Kennedy get shot? On 11/22. When did Wicked come out? On 11/22, right? So 11/22, the 22nd, doesn't end till midday the 23rd. All they did was, this is why you got to be in September. All they did was take that September 26th, 9/26, convert it to a 9/29. Like I keep saying, this is why they give you all that September 22nd coding. And 23rd and 24th, by the way. All that September 22nd, 23rd coding is because right here, September 24th, nothing will be the same. 11/26, right here. Up to September ends, all of it right here on February 10th, right here, February 10th, right? This is the day 2024 ends, 13 days after Elul 29, right here. Terminator, Judgment Day is February 10th. When Trump is traveling, they take out Josiah and they bring hell on earth. And we know the land has been split. As you saw on Mark Allison's channel, if you go watch his channel, you'll see that Trump already signed, or Netanyahu signed over Gaza. They have split the land. And look at Khan John. Avoid this question. Dude, this is it, man. This is it. Look at the con man. The Satanists always wearing the black. Avoid this question from these people that don't know this is the Satanist.
I'm going to be mindful of the time, but what is your sense? And I didn't even ask you this ahead of time, but what is your sense about Donald Trump saying that we'll take over Gaza, and what is your sense about all that?
It's Donald Trump.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
what can you say? On one hand, it's interesting. There are actually prophecies. One of the things I put in the book is that there are actually prophecies about Gaza, which is actually, it says that Gaza took hostages. That was their sin. It took hostages from Israel. But there's things about the ruins of Gaza too. And kind of settling in on the ruins of Gaza. So it's interesting. On one hand, it's like there is almost like a spiritual thing going on in Gaza, and the idea of breaking it up, hopefully blessing the people somewhere could help. But the world is so against it, that it's another radical thing of Donald Trump. It'd probably be renamed Trumpland, but that's
it's going to be named Gaza Largo.
See how they avoid the question? He got railroaded with that question, and he wanted to say Trump has split the land, and judgment is coming, you dumbasses. But they don't want to tell the goy boys that, and there's a 666. Maybe not on purpose, but guys, literally, he avoided the question. He knows he's the con man. They know what they're going to do next. It's part of the script. They split God's land, and now judgment comes on the day they had years in advance, September 23rd.
On the 23rd day of the month of September, in an early year of a decade not too long before our own, the human race suddenly encountered a deadly threat to its very existence.
Is September 23rd. It's 9/26, played out on 9/29. And when is 9/29? Right here on October 2nd. See, 9/29 on October 2nd, right? On Elul 29. And the Julian of September 23rd is right here on February 10th. This is why all the September 23rd coding, and that's why you got to go through the signpost. Could they have pulled it on February 6th? Yes. Could they have pulled it on December 10th? Yes. But can they pull it after the final day of the year? No. When is the final day of the year? Well, if you really want to look, the final day of the year is technically the 13th, right? But they're not going to do the 12th or the 13th. By the time we get to the 13th, nothing will be the same. And as you saw in one of the comments, the celebration of the year in the snake ends on the 12th, ends on February 12th. It's a 15-day celebration, ends on February 12th. And so by the time we get to the 13th, nothing will be the same. Snake eyes. Right here, guys. Snake eyes.